G'day everyone. Right, here we are sitting on the ground at the Mangatinoka Doc Hut. We're going to do a continuation flight from the last video, and we'll try and visit about 10 different huts that I've added to the Kaimanawas so far. So we'll get spooled up. Let's get this governor on. Okay. Got real world weather on. Hopefully it is not a good forecast, so we'll just see if it's possible to get to some of them. We'll go do our best. So we're going to lift off from here. I'll just unpause it actually. Right, so we'll lift out of here and we're going to take off up the valley to the Mangatinoka Head shelter, which is just really a little pad on the side of a hill. So with the weather, it's going to be a little bit interesting to see quite what the wind's doing in some of these little tight spots. So we'll just get out of here. There's already a bit of rain on the bubble. So I've been adding a lot more custom huts, so I've just been building them in Blender and then texturing them and adding them to the to like a library folder that I'm using for my homemade scenery. So there's a couple of huts that I haven't finished, but I've put generic ones in. When I say generic, I've just reused some of my sort of huts that I've made for it, because they look kind of the same, but until I get a time to make some of the more custom shaped ones. So this is the Harkness, not Harkness, the Mangatinoka Head shelter, which is going off the photos I've seen. It looks like quite an interesting pad to land at, with a little bit of a retaining wall around it, sort of on a bit of a hillside. And there's only a very basic little shelter there, so we'll just get out a descent in here, slowing up. Not a lot of room in here. So as you can see, that's the just get us down here. Just get away from these trees a little bit. Just move it forward underneath these branches. I'll just go to the outside view so you can see. Like, it's a neat little spot to try and land in. Good challenge. But we'll just pick up out of here, move away from these trees, and we'll get out of the Mangatinoka Heads, and we'll head to the Harkness Saddle, I think it is, next on our list. If we can get there. We'll see how the weather's looking. Trying to figure out where we are in relation to things at the moment. Could be up in this saddle here, because when I put these in the editor, I obviously have no weather on. It's just easier to get a lay of the land and make sure it's and for finding the locations it's easier without the cloud. But it's a bit murky out there. I'm pretty sure it's either this saddle or it's that next one out to our right. I'm just going to check this one. It looks as though this is probably not it. I'd say it's that one over to our right. Yeah. Bit of wind there. Got a big squally shower coming through behind us, so we'll try and see if we can get into the this other saddle before it closes out. come out from the other side because it's going to be a bit of breeze coming from the north. And then once we do to the Harkness Saddle Shelter, we'll go down the valley to the Harkness Hut itself. There's the saddle just down below us, there to the right, about 1 o'clock. We'll just get to the outside view so you can sort of see it there. We may even try an outside landing on this one, just so it's something a bit different to look at. Set it down here. And you see that little shelter. I think that's just I've just copied the one from the where we just came from the Mangatinoka Head shelter. I've got a seeker there standing in the clearing. So we'll take off forwards out of here because of that breeze. It's just lifting us around here. So we'll use a bit of the updraft off this face to get back up over this ridge, and then we'll duck back down to the Harkness Hut. Just have to watch, there might be a bit of a downdraft in some of these. If we stay on this side we might be right, should be catching a bit of the lift. We'll start our descent somewhere around here, and we come over this little ridge and we'll drop down into the Harkness. Bit of a downdraft off the end of that ridge, you can feel that just dropping. Get a bit of an updraft on this side though. Use this updraft to help slow our descent coming in here. And there's the Harkness Hut there. Let's get down onto this pad. Go. There's the Harkness Hut up there. We'll take off and we'll just have a little bit of a look at it. There we are sitting on the ground there. Tried to make the little areas where the pads are as detailed as possible, just so that it looks just like as close as you can sort of get to real life. It's the little Harkness Hut just there. So now we'll lift off and we'll just climb out to the south of us a little bit, and then swing back north and we'll head to the Tussock Hut. So if we climb up over here, and we'll just head back up this valley. At least that weather's sort of going off hopefully to the east a little bit. Trying to get my bearings, to make sure I'm not going and missing any huts as well. A bit tricky when I've never actually flown on a lot of this stuff in real life, so kind of just trying to get familiar with it in the sim. It looks like a bit of a walking track along there, down through this valley. It's a fairly main one. I think it's just up in the next little valley. I don't think it's that one. Looks like there it is. The Tussock Hut, this one. I think this is the dock one, I'm not sure. Yeah, there's that wind's downdrafting quite badly just here. It's just off the end of the pad, I think. I get sucked into that. So there's the Tussock Hut. It's sort of close as I can make it to the real thing, going off what photos I've got without any scale or dimensions or anything. So, right. We'll lift out of here and we'll pop across to the out to the Boyd, which is over in the next sort of big main catchment over to the west of us. Using a bit of the lift off this hillside here to get out of here. Stay away from that other side because there's a big downdraft on that. At least it looks better to the south because we're going to end up almost at the southern end of the Kawekas when we finish this flight, so it looks pretty nasty out to the north. We probably won't do a landing at the Boyd, we'll just do a bit of a hover around the hut that I've added, and I sort of just I see some other people have actually made some a scenery for the Boyd online, but they haven't had the hut. It was just looked like it was more just for the airstrip side of things. So I've made my own for my purposes. Like, I think you can. I actually might be able to land next to the hut. I think I made it. I'm not actually sure where the choppers would land, whether they'd land down on the airstrip as such, or whether there is a little clearing beside the hut. So that's the Boyd airstrip. And a little walking track up to the hut. And the hut's just up in the trees here. Yeah, we'll try land it on that little pad. There's a bit of a clearing there, so we'll give it a go since we're in the chopper. Whether it's a realistic pad or not, I don't know, but we'll give it a go. I don't know if there's enough room or not, and then we can have a good look at the hut when I'm down. A little bit washy in the wind just here, right in the lee here. Right, that was a bit rough, but we're down. So that's the Boyd hut. As close as I could make it from obviously off just photos I've seen online. So, right, we'll take off out of here. now we'll head down the valley and we'll go to Mangataramea Hut, which is a private one. Not too much to see there, it's just a little green hut. But we might as well go there. And then once we've been to there, we'll jump over the ridge to Golden Hills, which is probably a fairly well-known hut. It's actually a good thing we're going south today on the flight because we're quite the stiff tailwind blowing. I have a feeling, I'm just trying to work out my bearings exactly where this hut is now. I think it's down the end of the valley here. Up on this little sort of basin to the left hand side here. Go. A bit of a wind behind us here. We probably should have come in from the other direction. Can't quite see the hut from the pad here. I'll just take off and we'll have a little look at the hut. Well, there's not much to really see. It's just a little green hut. Right, now we'll jump up over the ridge here. Hopefully we'll get a bit of an updraft going up over this. Jump across to the Golden Hills. Then we'll carry on south from there. Use this ridge lift here to get up over this next one. Wind's pushing us south a little bit, but it's alright, we'll come back around. Might come up on the north side of the south side of the hut along this ridge where it's got the lift, and then come back around and land in front of the hut. There's the Golden Hills hut there. I've seen there's a lot of different colours of it online in the photos, and I wasn't sure what the current colour of it is, so I just made it a greenish colour. It looked to be sort of the more recent of them, so yep, so that's the Golden Hills. And from here, we're just having a look at the outside view. We're sitting on the ground at the Golden Hills. Right, we'll take off from here. There's a tailwind there. and we'll just go around to the other side of the hut and have a little look at it. We're going to head to the Ruia Dropoff, or the Ruia Campsite. I've got to try and get my bearings exactly where we are again now. Hopefully we don't pick up too much downdraft on this ridge. No, it's not too bad. We're definitely fighting that wind a lot though. Here we are, just down there. Just seeing down on this side of the valley. It's one that I had very limited photos of, but I just had noticed it on a map, so I was like, it'll be good to put it in, so it gives us another spot to land at. And the Ruia River. It's pretty steep country down through here, as we're starting to get in towards the Kawekas, the southern end. Got a campsite there, got a couple of tents and things. Have a little look at the outside view. I'm not exactly sure where they land here because there's very limited photos like I was saying before, so I just kind of made it up a little bit, but there's definitely some sort of a drop off here. There's an access point to hunting or tramping, fishing. Right now we'll head south out of here to Otutu Island Hut, so we'll just try and get up over this face if we can. Try and stay on this side to catch that wind. Now we've got 3 huts to go. There'll be a little bit of a ferry flight between the second to last one and the very last hut, just because it's got to cross the main Kaweka range to the south side. Trying to work out where we are here. Just looking for Otutu Island, which I think is just over here on this big wide tussock open flat area. This one here is a hut I haven't done custom yet. It's just I made a hut for the Pikuatia, and I've just repeated it for this one, just because it looked fairly similar until I get a chance to make it. So it sort of looks something like that, I'm not sure exactly, but another little hut here. But not a real challenging on this one. Just a big tussock area in front of it. The next one we're going to is the Otutu Doc Hut, which I think that one may be a private one, I'm not sure. I think so, and then I think the Otutu Doc Hut is this one across the valley, which is another repeat one. I think I've copied the Tussock Hut for this one. Turn back into that strong wind there, just about stopped us. It's a bit breezy right on this top of this hill here. It's coming from about 10 or 11 o'clock, I think, the wind. This feels a bit like it. There we go, there's the, so we're at the Otutu Doc Hut. I don't think the balcony's quite like that, so I will make a custom one for it at some point. Right, I'll lift out of here and off to the last hut. That wind's real strong. I think I might go out forward over the hut just to get a bit of lift. So now we've got to basically get across these ranges here because we're heading for the Macintosh Hut, which is at the south end of the Kaweka range. Pretty much just on the other side of that high plateau you can see in front of us. So we'll just whiz through all this scrubby land here and full of slips by the look of it. Looks like the weather's going to be holding out for us, like shower wise. The wind is definitely picking up a bit through here with all these hills. It's pretty turbulent. I might go through on the north side of that hill just because of the how windy it is. I just realised that I hadn't turned the avionics aren't even on for some reason. That's right, we don't really need them anyway. It was only for if you're doing radio calls or it actually keeps the air traffic control, auto air traffic control from talking too much. Almost looking out into the Hawke's Bay now. Maybe it's a little bit further north than I thought it was. It could possibly be just out about about 12 o'clock now behind this ridge. Just looking at that pine forest in the background. It's a pretty big reference point. It's alright, it's probably a good way to come through to it anyway, because we have to approach back to the north. And then probably do a 180 down into the clearing. Try and land facing the hut. There it is, just there. Wind's blowing straight up our tailpipe. And we're down. I'll go back to the outside view. And that's the Macintosh Hut, which is another dock hut in the Kaweka ranges. I think it's one of the older ones too in the Kawekas. So we'll shut it down here. Just turn my controller on. Now I've got a black screen while it loads back up. I always lose visuals in them. It just seems to freeze when you turn a controller on if it's gone to sleep. And it's not seeming to want to come back, which is not a good sign, so we'll call it there. I'll catch you on the next one.